Hello, everybody. It's a delight once again to be able to be with you. The last weekend in May, we were celebrating Memorial Day. And on that occasion, I was thinking of offering some thoughts on that celebration of Memorial Day. But as you remember, all kinds of things happened in our country, as a result of which I talked about some other topics. But today I want to go back and look back at Memorial Day, and also we're not far from July 4th, so the two of them might come together, I think. One of the things to keep in mind uh, when we talk about Memorial Day, and in doing this, I want to make a suggestion of something that you might do, just kind of a project for your family, individual, something you can do relative to Memorial Day and the 4th of July. When we think of Memorial Day, I think it's important to realize it is not a time in which we are praising military might. Memorial Day is not an occasion to say we are such a strong country, we can defeat any other country. That is not the purpose of Memorial Day. The purpose of Memorial Day is to remember and to mourn for our brothers and sisters who have lost their lives in wars. Memorial Day is a time to remember. It's not a time to praise war. General Sherman said, "War is hell. War is glorious only for those who have never been a part of it." When I was at the U of R, actually it was the time of all the Vietnam protests, the man who was in charge of the Naval ROTC at the U of R was a highly decorated World War II veteran, a man by the name of Cliff Larges. And Cliff talked on a number of occasions to our community, Newman community, and also to the U of R student body at large. And people listened, even those who were protesting strongly were listening, because what Cliff said was, the purpose of the military is not to make war. The purpose of the military is to maintain peace. And when the military fires its first gun, that means we human beings have failed. That's the notion of Memorial Day, to remember. Now, does anybody know where and when Memorial Day started? When our governor, Andrew Cuomo, was doing one of his morning briefings on Memorial Day, he asked all the reporters there, he said, "Do you know where Memorial Day was originated? What town in New York State?" And not one of them knew where it was. But I suspect you know where Memorial Day started. So on three, you shout out where Memorial Day started, okay? 1, 2, 3. Right. Memorial Day started in Waterloo on May 6th, 1866. The town druggist, Henry Wells, gathered with a couple of his friends and walked to the three cemeteries in Waterloo. I don't know the three cemeteries in Waterloo, but walked in mourning clothing and dark clothing to the three cemeteries and prayed for those who had been killed in the Civil War. They were concerned and they prayed for them. They did it the next year, and pretty soon surrounding towns began to have a Memorial Day, and soon it spread through the state and to the nation. But it all began in Waterloo, New York. Now, what my suggestion is to all of you is this. We have in Rochester one of the best kept secrets. For in Highland Park, there is a Vietnam memorial. If you've never been there, take the time to go and visit the Vietnam Memorial. It's in Highland Park. It's across the street from where the lilacs are. And there are two entrances off of South Avenue. And when you walk in, you're greeted by flags and a statement of the purpose of the park. The purpose is to commemorate, to educate, and to heal. And throughout this memorial garden, you sense the idea there is to remember, to commemorate, to educate, and to heal. As you begin walking into this memorial garden, it's a winding pathway. And on the side, there are monuments called bollards, Bollards. It's a metal frame on top of which is a plaque with the name of individuals who lost their lives in Vietnam. It gives their name, their date of birth, the day they died, and the high school from which they graduated. And as you walk down this winding pathway, these bollards are with you every step of the way. It is a sobering reminder of what happens in war. War is hell, as General Sherman said. And we remember these individuals who gave their lives. Alongside these bollards is a running history of what's happening in the world, beginning really with the founding of Vietnam, which was in 300 BC when people from China came. But it goes and talks about what's happening in the contemporary society. It's an effort to educate. And then we come to the end of this winding pathway, and there's an opening where there is a map of Vietnam and what happened. It goes on to talk about the price of war, what that meant. And then there's an area of healing where there are some readings, some poetry, hopefully, which can bring all of us to a deeper appreciation of what went on at that time. So that's my suggestion. If you have time to visit the Vietnam Memorial at Highland Park, it is sobering, and yet it is a place where you sense compassion. It's a wonderful experience. I really like to invite all of you to take that opportunity and to visit the Vietnam Memorial in Highland Park. Thanks, everybody. So until next week, gather. Peace.